Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to the 2016 edition of the Career Day. I'm Willi, Chief People Officer of Globant, in case you don't know me. Here with us it's Guibert and Globant, co-founder and CTO of Globant. And we are very happy to be here today, kicking off the Career Day edition, which is an important event for you to know information and tools that you need to develop your career at Globant. It's a great opportunity to expand your network and also learn about what is going on in the company. This year we have made a new change for the event, which is to start with a business and a strategy conversation for you to know where the company is going, where we are right now from the business perspective, what are our values, because you cannot disconnect your career journey at Globant from what is going on in the company. So Guibert then will talk about that. On the other hand, we also organized the career path conversations, not from the technology studios point of view, but also from the expertise point of view. So we're going to have conversations on QA, BA and product, UX, development and communities, and also on sales and operations. Then we are also going to have some business conversations on some new strategic initiatives that we are having in the company as stay relevant, discover, and build. These conversations will happen during the month of August. Then in September, there will be sessions to provide you with internal tools and to illustrate you on what are the processes available for you to develop your career at Globant. And remember that develop your career, it is not only to take your boss's job. It's not only an upward movement. It can also imply a lateral move, a cross-functional move, for example, going from technology to operations or from people to finance, etc. It can also mean having an international experience, talking to a mentor, asking for advice, etc., etc., etc. All related to a learning opportunity. So I hope you really enjoy this opportunity. I think it's a great time. There are many things going on in the company. It is a great time to stop, to listen carefully, ask questions, and let yourself be impacted with what you hear in the upcoming days. So I wish you have a great event and you stay connected to what is going on. So to begin with, we have Guibert. Probably you know him very, very well. And the first question and the kickoff question is, Guibert, help us understand Globant these days, where we are, where we're going, and what is important for the Globers to consider to be successful at Globant these days.
Thanks, Guille, and nice to talk to all of you guys. Yeah, I believe that one of the things that is important to understand is that whenever you are making a career, you are doing it on a certain field. If you're going to the Olympics today, and you want to do the 100 meters, what kind of terrains you're going to have, you're going to be in the pressure in front of many people. There will be different things that make it totally different than if I went for a jog in the morning next to my house. So if we are going to be making a career at Globant, I believe that it's extremely important to realize a number of things. The first one is that Globant is a very entrepreneurial company. So many of you may have joined Globant shortly, in recent times, and seeing it as a large company. Well, the truth is that it hasn't been like that all the time. Globant was founded only 13 years ago. We like to say 14 now because 13, I don't like the number, it's bad luck. But it's interesting to know because during the course of these 13 years, Globant has become one of the fastest growing companies in all the world. So that makes us very special. There are not many companies who are able to grow from nothing, from a bar, with $5,000 and the blessing of the bartender, to become such a global company, obtaining such a recognition with this amount of customers, with all this amount of knowledge, with such a global footprint, is uncommon. You won't see much. So perhaps you come from a very large organization that has been on business for 100 years, and the guy who's running it hasn't been there from day one. Or you come from a startup, or that perhaps you had you were trying to create the next Facebook and suddenly you fail, or you got bored and then you come. That make us, we're not in none of them. So despite the fact that we are large, we are learning, and we are learning fast. That's one thing. Second big thing that happened is that the speed of growth of Globant makes for all of us to be witnessing how to create another global company. So it is still very fresh on our memories, and of many of those who make Globant today, how it was to be on the first day at Globant. So, growing at such a pace is giving us an alternative, to actually know how to create a global firm, a global leader, and eventually to replicate it. As entrepreneurs, we understand that our impact, we want to create a profound impact in the communities where we are. And that impact will not be done just by Globant, but it will also be done by the dozens of companies that you guys will start after leaving Globant. So that's something that makes us happy. And so as much as you can create about creating a business is good. The other thing that is important is that fast growth requires fast learning. So we are continuously adapting the company for the new thing. So every Wednesday, the top management of the company gets together. We review every single metrics that you can imagine. And then every week, we are learning something different. So we are affecting change. We are making the things change. And that's change is so common at Globant that you don't need to be afraid of. We have never did change because we wanted to create damage. We may but that was not the idea. We can screw it as you can. You are actually empowered to screw it here at Globant because we understand that learning is an important part of creating the company. Another thing that is inherently very Globant style is the ambition to become better and better. So it's not common for a company to grow this fast. It's not common for a company that was born in a bar 2 blocks from where I am now to go and acquire a company in the US, to acquire a company in India, acquire a company in England. Actually, the story was supposed to be the other way around, isn't it? So we are somehow very challenging. We say, okay, we're going to be, everything that you look like that, okay, we're going to do it differently. So we want to be different. We don't want to be a me too. So that's highly on the DNA of Globant. We never wanted to be exactly like the rest. We wanted to be totally different. So you will see that at Globant, we are ambitious and we are always saying, okay, we have gone to the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, what's next? We need a dream. We are always having a dream in front of us. Long time ago, we decided that dream was going to be the #1 software company on earth. And I believe that's a big dream to have. As an Argentinian, I always wanted to be on the football team, but I'm not fit for that. So I said, okay, but we can still create a national software team, and play there, go to the major leagues and demonstrate how good we can be on coding. So that's what I like to do. So we always wanted to be better and better and better. With that becoming a reality. You know, just last month, IDC, a global research firm, positioned Globant to be on the leaders quadrant for digital transformation. And they were saying, okay, on pretty much every metric, Globant has more capabilities than anyone else. And next to us was McKinsey, was IBM, and there were some others. Many other very prestigious companies were way beyond us, below us. So that you need to understand that when we have that positioning, that requires us to have a certain kind of attitude within Globant. Because you may show up here, you may get paid a salary, but perhaps if you don't know what we are promising to our customers, it will be very hard for you to actually deliver on that promise. So the first thing we promise to our customers is that we are going to guide them in a time in which companies need to transform to take advantage of technology to become better. Essentially, what's happening in the technology sector is pretty massive. You know, when we started this company, pretty much we would have expected that our customers were going to come to ask for, okay, optimize this process, automate this. You know, technology was being used to reduce cost and increase performance. We always wanted to understand the big picture. That's something that I would also like to share with you. You know, the big picture back in 2005, when we were still on the early days of Globant, was that we discovered that reaching consumers through technology was now being possible. That until then, pretty much all software had been done for an employee, and those employees were paid a salary, forced to use a system, they can buy the hundreds, they were properly trained. So essentially, at the end, all the software was ugly, was dog food. At the same time, around that time, we were seeing that technology was enabling companies to connect to their consumers directly on a bi-directional way. That today, if you want to buy a ticket to fly, you will go directly to the airline rather than going to a travel agent. So there was a lot of disintermediation. This connectivity with the consumer at any moment next to wherever the consumer wanted to be was enabling a dialogue that 10 years before was impossible to have. And was enabling these companies to actually create a very strong bond with those consumers. So by 2005, we decided that we were on consumer-facing technologies. By 2006, when Google selects Globant as the first company in the world to which they trust the development of some software they were doing internally, we discovered, we started to specialize on the rapid generation of technology to satisfy those consumers. 2007, next year, we were working with pretty much everyone on the Silicon Valley, many companies that were coming to us for that. But then we said, okay, if we are working with all the coolest companies out there on creating what the world will see in 6 months, perhaps we can be in a good position to help other companies to innovate. So we said, at one point in the future, we will see banks, airlines, retailers needing to innovate as the guys in the Silicon Valley are doing. And that's how we started to shape the company for that. We come up to the realization that we were on the fitness business, which doesn't show. But the idea was that we would be in a great position to actually help our customers be in good fit to compete in the future. Today, if you look at our offerings, it comes in 3 different areas. Stay relevant, where we help our customers look at the horizon and see what's coming. Discover, because we believe customers needs to be explorative of the potential of technology to reinvent the way they conduct business. And then build. Why is build important? Because the world is full of people who will give you a PowerPoint with great ideas, but not many will be able to make them a reality. So that's important to understand. So we are extremely strategic with the kind of this transformation has led us to have dialogues with CEOs of some of the most important companies out there. And they come to us usually with a blank piece of paper. They say, hey, I want to become the best bank for a millennial generation. I want to be the most relevant, I would like to help an elderly people, to live at their homes with their loved ones, using sensors and not compromising their safety. Okay. So these are like blank statements. It's just one sentence. And what they expect is for us to lead them. So one thing that you don't need to do at Globant is to actually sit down on the first meeting that you have with the customer and say, okay, I'm here. I want to take note. Okay, this is what tell me what do you want me to do. That's not our way, okay? So first thing that I would encourage you is to get to know what's the problem the customer has, why he has come to us, what's the history behind behind it. Have they gone to another vendor and they didn't have good results? They are facing competition from other player and now they need our help to reinvent. Get in love with the business of our customers, because technology is not important per se as it is just a way to transform the reality of what we can do. So get in love with that business, try to understand, and be prepared to lead the customer. That's an important part of it.
Guibert, people are asking what is an agile pod? And from today, they are asking if it's related somehow to the Pokemon Go. I don't know if there's a connection or not.
Well, the world has become more insecure. I just tweeted about a Pokemon Go that a Pokemon that I found out on my office. So we are not safe any longer. There is, as with any change that we are doing, we are now on the verge of making a very important change. So I want to take advantage of you being here so you can actually know about that. We believe that teamwork is essential. So in the next few days, you will see a number of changes at Globant that are towards more teamwork and more customer focus. We believe that nothing should prevent us from providing a better service to our customers. And we believe that the giving autonomy and putting the pods, each team that we assemble at the forefront and providing you with all the help so you can serve the customer better is what we need to do. So a number of things that we're going to do. First, we will make it extremely clear that nothing is as important as your team in this company. The rest of us, we are just here to help you. Okay? So pods are going to be the essential piece, and they have always been, but perhaps we haven't made it so clear. Your pod is what matters the most, you and your people. There are no pods that don't have a purpose, so you better find it. So you are not a pod of HTML5. No, 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 no. If you come up with that reason, tell me, think again, okay? We want to understand why the customer needs you. What are you trying to change? And we wanted to make it extremely explicit. Then there is no pod without an identity. We want teams to create a strong sense of identity, and we believe that having a name is going to be key. So we will encourage people to actually name their teams, create whatever mystic you want to do in order to assemble a strong team culture. We don't believe that a pod could be there without being in a clear path towards becoming better and better. So we will encourage every team to come up with a set of metrics by which you're gonna live, and by the ones you're gonna be measuring yourself. So there will be a number of metrics that we will suggest, like for example, quality, speed, autonomy, but there will be some others which are attached to perhaps your current project, your current business. Okay, if I'm a team who's willing to, I'm on a measure, to acquire new customers for a company, then perhaps the number of customers that I acquire is going to be a key metric. So we can measure and iteration after iteration try to become better. So those are some examples of teamwork. We are building a pod manifesto and a pod constitution. The idea is that every team should settle and understand the rules of engagements. We will also give the opportunity to, for each pod to bring innovation. For example, if you believe that on your team you need an expert on algorithmic trading, for example, well, you have the ability to actually create that role. But there are some other roles that in every place, in every project should be. For example, who takes care of the overall quality of whatever we are building? Who is the guy who takes care of the metrics of the team? These are like when you go on a mission and you need to have someone who is the commander, someone who is the guy with the first aid, and so the idea is that you could fulfill one or more of those roles if you are on the team, and that will give you the opportunity. Perhaps you can be a developer, you are a developer, but you want to try it out what it is to be a quality engineer for these projects. So as I would like to think it's like when you go to play soccer with football with your friends, and you say, hey, I'm gonna be the goalkeeper today. And sometimes you want to be making goals, scoring goals, so you go to the front. Okay, we want to give you full autonomy of, okay, I believe that I can play here, but once you committed with the rest of your teams that you're going to be the goalkeeper, you cannot walk away and receive a ball, okay? So it's something similar to that. We also believe that this, and this is important for a career day, we want, as I mentioned, a Globant that will become far more focused on teams and pods, as we call them. We don't want to be extremely hierarchical. We don't want to be prescribing, oh, Francisco, you need to do this or that, We want to give you, okay, this is the goal. If you have a problem, and these are the rules of engagement, if you have a problem, come. We are an open, you know where I am, where I sit, come and ask for help. So that's important. But the other thing is that perhaps you want to play on a position in the field that you haven't fulfilled yet. So we don't want to be the ones who tell, okay, you can play on certain positions in the field, but we would like to give you responsibility and saying, okay, if Francisco wants to play as the middle field, or be the team leader for this team, okay. If he is accepted and everyone believes that he can play well, he needs to fulfill that role. So we want to give the opportunity for people to grow. So many times I see that people wants to know, okay, what's my career path? And some people feels confident with following it as if it were, I don't know, el juego de la oca, you know, those games, board games that you go from one to another step, and everything seems simple, isn't it? Well, as entrepreneurs, we value a lot that while there is a road, there should be an alternative highway. So people who are willing to take the highway, they shouldn't be prevented from doing so. So we want to make sure that people who have the drive and want to grow faster, they have the ability to do so. And, you know, one of the best ways that I can figure out, you know, it's like to take the highway is to get noticed, is to do the extra mile. At Globant, we will never, I receive every day an email from someone who's doing the extra mile. So that's the best way to, the best way in which you can be noticed. And, you know, if I tell you all this is because I want you to understand, you know, we need to be leaders, we need to be surprising, we need to be loving our customers. Whatever you can do is important. You know, the militaries, they understand that whenever they send a troop into combat, they may have made all sorts of good plans. But once in combat, typically those plans tend to be affected. So as a way to mitigate that, they have something that they call commander intentions, which are clearly stated at the top of the page. So, I don't know, I can have a lot of plans, but the commander tells me that, you know, establishing a beachhead on certain place is what they want. So if once I'm in the battle and my plans change, you know, at least I know that what the commander wanted is that beachhead to be taken. So we need to be prepared to deal with uncertainty and with change. But the most important thing is we need our customers to love what we deliver. We need to lead those customers. And whatever you can do to do that is going to be extremely valuable and will be an opportunity to grow.
And also from a personal development point of view, it's important to understand what is your, you know, your commander, you know, what is your ultimate goal, whether it is to keep growing, moving abroad, you know, changing technology, whatever. It's important that before we go, Guibert, what are the lessons that you learned from your career, and what can you share with the Globers?
Well, one thing that I made perhaps differently to what I see many times is I always understood my career as gaining potential energy, you know, as in physics, when you go and suddenly you say, okay, it's like, you know, I'm spending some energy into moving this here, and then into moving this here. If I suddenly drop this, it will gain a lot of cinematic energy, you know, a momentum. And the one thing that I did is at every turning point in my career, I always favored the ability to the decision was taken with one clear rule, okay, in which, if I do this or that, if I need to go that way or that way, my decision was always decided on, okay, what's going to bring me more potential in the future? So I believe that I have made some unlikely moves. For example, from here, we can see, take a look at there, guys. You see that floor over there? In the IBM building. That was my first job. I was at 5 a.m. in a disco, in 1990, and suddenly I come up with an idea saying, oh, I have this idea that this could work. I was a scientific researcher for IBM, working on fingerprints and face recognition. And so I said, okay, I need to try this. I didn't have a powerful computer at home back in the days as a way to try this out. So grabbing my card, as we all have here, I came at 5 a.m. and crossing, a few other mates on my research group that were lying on the office, still working, sleeping there. I jumped and I was trying this new experiment. So I always loved this. IBM didn't, they had me. There were many other companies who could have paid me more than IBM, but I know that nobody else, nowhere else, I could learn more than there. And in the same fashion, I was making decisions that were hard, perhaps. I wasn't living in Buenos Aires. Actually, I came from Tandil to work here. I was lucky. My fathers could help me, and I could come here to Buenos Aires, but it was an unlikely move because it was not the most convenient one for me. But I knew that being on this group, I could be much better. Same thing happened in 1996. I was called, and suddenly I said, I joined another company. I left my own business to join another company that was doing something really cool in New York. And again, when I founded Globant, it was not the perfect time to do it. My wife was pregnant for a second time. So who who would do such a move of quitting your job? But I knew that this was my opportunity to create something different. And then once at Globant, okay, we could have sold services to the guys next door, but we say, no, that's not the guy you want. You will need to jump into a plane and go find your customer 10,000 kilometers from here. That was, again, not convenient. It could be much better if I had my customers next. So always go for the whatever is going to bring you to a better stage for your professional career. Because at one point, when I was 37 years old, I was in the perfect moment to create a company like this one. I'm very happy to be here, and with the Monday newspaper, we can say, hey, but at least I did it. And I said, okay, one thing that is clear is you always took the decision to go for whatever was best for your career. It was not $100 more. It was not the place that was closer to my home.
Career is like financial, right? Like higher risks, higher returns. Okay, you can say that.
Yes. I don't know if it was higher risk. And sometimes, definitely it was, but it was harder work.
Moving out from the comfort zone.
Moving out of the comfort zone was much more, yeah.
Thank you, Guibert. I think we can open up for questions. There are some questions on the line, we believe. We can share.
So, what do you consider are Globant odds to become the world's #1 IT company by next decade?
I am totally certain that we will be.
Okay.
Yes, we are. Of course, there are many different of IT companies. We are specialized on creating wonderful experiences for companies to treat their consumers through technology. That's what in the jargon is called digital transformation. We are now, as this report was showing, as one of the top 4 in the world. And the markets and the analysts are positioning us as the darling of this industry. You know, we are really well positioned. We are smaller than many other big companies, but we are certainly recognized by the kind of skills that we can bring to the table. They like the power of our studios. They like our vision. Okay, these are the three pillars. You know, stay relevant, discover, and build. Our complete opportunity is not the same as to be a cool agency that come up with an idea, that one that can not only come up with that idea but also do it. So there are not a lot of companies that that can claim that. So I'm very, very confident.
Right. How do you see the future of software developers in 5 and 10 years? I hope I read it right because it is software dev.
Yes.
So
well, always learning, as we are. You know, as software developers, we need to be learning continuously. We need to be. I would say that the ones who's gonna make the difference are, as always, are those ones who can see what that technology can make as an impact. So don't get in love with technology, get in love with what you can do with technology. Technology is now becoming, if you look at it, typically it was like a hard science, something that was away from humans. Now technology is a humanistic tool for excellence. You can transform the way you do everything on your life and through technology. So I believe that getting aware of what you can do is important. There will be also a lot of transformations and newer emerging trends, particularly one that will need to leverage is artificial intelligence. Will be becoming more and more important in what we do. So that's an area we will use and we will build. So that's something that I see coming. And I believe that the skills we have developed for programming machines will eventually be used to program live beings. So we are now cracking the code of how a living species works, and I will see many of the work we've been doing programming computers being of use on how to deal with life sciences.
Right. Regarding this same question, it says many IT roles evolve. How do you see the VAs in role not only in Globant but in the industry in the future?
Well, that's a very good one. The business analyst when I went to school was about gathering requirements. One thing that's happening is that the requirements are no longer there many times. Actually, we are getting those from learning from what the users are doing. So software has been transformed into being a series of experiments that you iteratively are delivering to consumers, and your ability to observe and to gather insights on what should be built next into a software is going to be key. So I would say that rather than a business analyst will be more like an anthropologist, and it will also be extremely important to acquire certain level of practical or strategy knowledge on how to get there. Because when you have a lot of things to do, the idea is to go simple and to go to to try to detect from all the different learnings that you get, okay, what you're going to be building next. So the look over what's being built, something like a product manager is something that a business analyst could simply be in a good position to capture.
What is the experience that you have lived that defines the best the Globant way? It's for both of you because it says both.
I don't know. Do you want to? You can. Well, I
We
would
can
say that
say another question, and you can
I've
keep
seen many things. One, I would say, one was the 18th of July, 2014, when I woke out and suddenly went to Wall Street and was going out of the cab and suddenly saw the flag of Globant in front of the New York Stock Exchange. Every time that I think about it, it gives me, chicken skin. But what I felt there was, okay, this is amazing what we have created as a team. I felt like I wanted to have you all there. This is the result of a lot of teamwork. I'm being here, I need to confess that entrepreneurs are highly overrated, it is all of us, it is, who are the unsung heroes, and so I believe that's very important, and I will never stop recognizing that. Second thing that I believe is like a good way of putting a Globant, you said, okay, having a career is not particularly taking your boss job, And, when I started this company, I was having exactly the same title that I have today. But believe me, my reality has changed dramatically, Back then, I was having 10 to 20 developers reporting to me. Now we have 5,000 people there. So as you can imagine, many times it's not you growing and changing titles as it is what it grows underneath you. So I don't know, when I see Mariano Nardi leading consumer experience and having more than 1,000 people, that's a lot. The CEO of a multinational firm here in Argentina, Microsoft, they may have, how many people? You've been at Microsoft.
90,000 employees.
No, here in Argentina. 200 people. So Mariano Nardi runs 5 Microsofts. And he was a software developer. That's another way to put the Globant way. And I would say that perhaps the other aspect in which I believe it describes what Globant is when you enter, when you see that we helped build one of the most amazing transformations in a theme park, like it happened at Disney, or you go to your house and you see your kids playing FIFA, which is also built here, or you see a number of technologies that are surrounding us that are being built here. That the breadth, the width of opportunities that we see here are immense. You won't see other companies who have 500 projects running at any given moment. So that's very important. Sometimes, the best way to create this potential energy on your career is to go and move from one project to another, get to know something about this industry, these technologies, and then move into another one. So an important part of Globant is having autonomy. We want you to be able to make decisions on your teams, but if you ever feel that your team is not the proper one, with responsibility, I would like you to switch to another team. And that's something that we have a lot of opportunities here.
I think my example is connected to the thinking big value. You know that there is a saying that it says that think twice before you ask something because you can get it. And in Globant, what I have seen is that it's a company that is not afraid of asking, and it's always prepared to get it when it asks. And probably it's kind of like a more protagonic point of view. Like say, it's impossible that we buy this company in India because how are we going to manage these, hundreds of employees there? And then we do it and we do it well. And we integrate it, and now we have a delivery center in India. Or now it's impossible to have this client because they are big, and we were the first one having Google as an external vendor. So it's kind of like, the Globant way, I think it is very well represented by this attitude of not being afraid of going for dreams and getting something. And we kind of like, as a team, as Guibert says, as a result of the team, we have shown that it is possible to accomplish that. Like not to ask for a small thing. I mean, I've been part of, big negotiations to do things, and you say, well, Globant, an Argentinian, based company that they started very small, how now can be in this IDC quadrant? And it was possible because we were not afraid to ask and to go for our dreams, and we had the courage to do it, ask for that, and then whenever we had it, we just were able to deliver it, and execution is a very important part for that.
We keep receiving questions, so if you have time, I will continue. So the I-Factor program is a way to get a highway?
Yes, the I-Factor, for those who doesn't know it, is an entrepreneurship detection program. What we are looking is for people with entrepreneurial qualities to come up with some ideas or projects to be able to present it. What we want to do there is to get to know you more. So that it is a way of being on the highway. It's not the only one. You are. There are countless of examples of people who say, "Okay, I'm gonna do this for that," for this particular customer, and getting notice. Come talk to us, give me a call, send me a message to anyone, at the management. We are an open company. I would love to know everyone. Perhaps it's humanly impossible, but believe me, I would love to do it. So as much as possible, if you come up with an idea, okay. Another thing that I believe is important is to take. You need to feel like an owner here. You need to own the place. So feel free to do whatever. If you want to come up with something new, and suddenly surprise the rest of us, go for it. If you find something that it shouldn't be like this, like for example, I'm having a problem on getting a replacement for my computer, that has been broken, blah blah blah. This sort of issues that I've seen many people that gets frustrated. Whatever we have as a process hasn't been designed to piss off people. It was done with the best intention, but perhaps we didn't think it. But people typically tries to accept whatever they have seen there as if it was a given. Nothing here is bound to be like whatever, and particularly something that is annoying shouldn't be here. So we need to change that.
Right. This is about the staff departments. I will do two questions in one. It says staff departments are going to evolve as pods, and the second one, it says for both. Where should be the expectation for the support areas, people care, facilities, and so on, looking into Globant growth in the next few years? And what is the plan for them? What are the opportunities, and how will they face the challenges of such vertiginous success?
So yes, we were talking that well, in my case, from the people department, we need to be able to continue support the business in the way the business needs it. So from the agile point of view, we will need to understand what agility and what the agile pods mean, and actually, why not implementing, a kind of like podability or agile teams within support areas? I think it would be great to do it. And then the way we are trying, we are kind of like reviewing the incentives, reviewing the way people learn, the way we are giving you the tools that you need in order to support you in whatever is new in the company. So part of the things that are coming that Guibert is announcing, more focused on the teams, more focused on the agility, maturity, will have a lot of impact from the support areas point of view. From the people department, it has direct impact on how to incentivize people, how we train people, finding new ways. For example, this is an example of an evolution. Having this video streaming with you all, it's kind of like the result of how you guys, the feedback that you told us, that how you prefer, receiving some messages. That probably it's better by having a YouTube session than connecting to a WebEx. So we are continuously evolving and preparing for the future, and everything we do, it is related to some feedback that we got from you. At the end of the September, we will have the working mood survey. It's a great opportunity to send us feedback. Every time you go to a training and you tell us what it went right, what can be improved, everything it is taken into account, and there are a lot of projects where we incorporate that feedback.
Let me add that not only we will focus on the importance of pods, all the remaining parts, like, for example, how we manage every account will also become a pod. So the company, with this focus on being close to our customers and very focused, we will try to assemble around our most important customers a team with people coming from technology, from operations, from sales, like a triangle, a pod of 3. And they will be the team that will support the rest of the teams and will be taking care of developing the relationship and growing it. So this is a lot of teamwork that, as you can see, is somehow not working as a matrix, but more as teams. Also, at the top management, for the very first time in the history of Globant, there will be teamwork as well. So, for example, typically I run technology and Willi runs operations, and sales was like a third part. Okay, but we usually never talk to each other. I was doing some stuff and they were doing another stuff, which of course led to problems. Because if there was a problem, okay, whose fault was that? Okay, well, we don't want finger pointing. We don't want politics to be involved. We want teamwork. So from now on, all the major accounts will be overlooked by a team of people in which I will be in, together, representing technology. Willi will be representing the business. Patricia will be representing operations. Guille will be representing people. So the idea is we will form a team, and they will come as if we were, every account will show up, as in Britain's has talent, something like that. The idea is, okay, we will have like a board of evaluating how that account is doing, rather than, you guys take care of one meeting about certain aspects and I will take care of certain other aspects. So that, I believe that's a significant change in how Globant operates.
Great. We have more questions about pods. So about pods and empowering them by generating an identity and sense of belonging, how do you see that fitting into a staff augmentation project with mixed teams from Globant and the client? What can be done in such case?
Well, we would like, there are not only, there are, staff augmentation is not a vast amount of what we do. We have much larger number of teams. But even though in many cases, even when we are working as a team, we have a lot of distributed teams. So we see a couple of guys in Tucumán working with a couple of guys in India, with a couple of guys in San Francisco. We would like people to actually get together and to create a critical mass. So I don't believe there is a bad reason for you not to belong as a team. And actually, many of our customers are adopting the pod methodology. You can assemble a pod in which you have people from our customers. We are trying to push methodologies, tools. We believe that in any significant transformation, the kind of services we will offer will encompass not only talent, but technology to go faster to the market. We are building many pieces of technology to develop solutions faster. Also methodology, where we have the Agile Pods methodology, for which we have written a book, but also we are developing a product that's called Go Pods to manage them, and also culture. That's where things like Colloquia or Start Me Up come into play. How do you create some dynamics? So the idea is we will provide this for our teams, and we don't expect our customers to just use Agile Pods if they work with us. If they work with another vendor, or if we are working as a team that is mixed, that also applies. So there is no reason why a team shouldn't be a team just because some of the members are coming from a customer and some others from us.
Right. With this new way to see pods, how can I specialize in my technology and move beyond of the project client to become an SME of my technology or the technology?
Well, the studios continues to be the core of Globant, and the studios are, while I may see a different roles and different kind of people at my pod, there are people that are like me at the studio. So studios will continue to drive specialization in every practice that the studio has. And actually we are making changes in terms of how to help them be more focused on creating an intellectually challenging environment around those practices.
Right. Regarding similar to BA's question, how do you see growing UX role inside Globant?
It's an amazing role. I said, if you listen to what I said, we are becoming more observers and anthropologists, or people who try to understand what the users are requiring, more than actually coming up, developing software upon a series of requirements. So one of the main areas of growth at Globant has been the UX related. We are seeing a lot of UX work being done both at the UX studio and also at the discovery area. So every day we are seeing far more work related to understanding what users want and designing experiences. So the growth of what we are doing is highly attached to design.
Great. So the last question. Would you like Globant to be known primarily as a software company or one that creates and nurtures entrepreneurs?
Both.
Okay.
And more, I want this to be a school of entrepreneurship, a cradle of entrepreneurs, and also I would like the company to be many different things. If you look at it, we are not only a software company, one that should be extremely good. But at the same time that we are doing that, we are having a lot of different beneficial effects on the society that surrounds us. So we are bringing opportunities to every place where we have an office. We are connecting that people to whatever is happening in the most demanding companies in the world without them having to relocate. We are giving them an international experience. We are creating credibility for the countries where we operate. So, people start to say, hey, we need to go to Colombia or to Argentina or Mexico because they are doing great software. So many companies that we see today in Buenos Aires came to Buenos Aires because they were working with us. So we are like an embassy for this. And of course, we are investing in other entrepreneurs. We are a safe net for people that perhaps at one point, being a Glober, they decide to go and try luck as an entrepreneur. And if everything goes okay, perfect. But you know what? Creating an enterprise is not an easy challenge. So if anything goes bad, you still can come back. So we are like a safety net for that. And we are also like a melting pot of different technologies and knowledge that is allowing us to teach, that is allowing us to bring opportunities to people that didn't have an opportunity, like what we are trying out with Testear, where we are making people working, that was living in a slum, giving them the opportunity to come up and be trained and have an opportunity to work. So inclusion is important. The side effects of having a company like us in any of our markets is extremely important. So I will take this opportunity to also encourage you to detect opportunities to connect better with your communities. If you have an opportunity to bring kids to the office and show them what we can do as professionals, you may be opening their eyes and perhaps changing their opportunities for life. So as much as possible, try to look and think big. We are far more important, and our work is far more important than what perhaps you may have dreamed. So try to think like a superhero, okay? What you are doing every day is extremely important. You need to be in full understanding of what your superpowers are and try to use it wisely to make the larger impact on the community you are living. So, that's something that I believe is important.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being with us all this time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Guibert, and great participation. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the conversations during the career days. Bye-bye.
Gracias, Che, por... ¿Salió bien el streaming? Muy bien, Che. Bueno, todo bueno.
Quedaron un par de preguntas. Bueno, pero poquita. Sí, eran poquitas y las hacía extremadamente largas.
Yo viví en Venezuela. ¿En qué parte? En Chacao. Ah, ok. ¿Trabajas por allí? Sí. Yo soy de Caracas. Sí. Sí, yo vivía al lado del Embassy Suites. Ajá. Viví en una época que ahora yo lo grabo y queda grabado en el chat. Directamente de... Sí, 180 máximo. Después empezó a bajar.
180, perfecto.
Pero al último teníamos 100, me parece un montón.
100 teníamos un montón.